Dozens of police and volunteers combed dense mountain areas near Star Tannery that Wednesday in an attempt to find the 19-year-old young man accused of carjacking. Jason Abarca had been missing for 3 weeks, and prospects of finding him alive are dim. There were 50 to 60 search and rescue personnel out there that day. According to Abarca's mother, Jennifer Soto, and grandmother, the incident of December 13th was completely out of character for the teen who excelled in school and sports. They suspect Abarca snapped due to a recent series of emotionally distressing events, including the May 24th suicide of his older brother, Army Captain Corey DeCarlos Platt, and a subsequent family argument concerning the inscription on Platt's tombstone. His mother said Jason had been prescribed meds for ADHD several years ago, but on December 13th, he took more than the prescribed amount for reasons no one knows. The mother suspects Abarca began experiencing drug-induced hallucinations and paranoia before leaving his house in Hagerstown. In the McDonald's parking lot, Jason ran up to a vehicle, made her get out at knife point, then stole her car. Abarca was considered both a fugitive from the law and a missing person. The Code of Virginia states mental illness does not necessarily stop a criminal suspect from responsibility, so Abarca was expected to be charged with carjacking and attempted carjacking if he was found alive, but Sheriff Behan said that's a concern for another day. The location of the crash has raised questions as to why Abarca would have been on Star Tannery Road. It was a gravel roadway just across Cedar Creek that is barely noticeable from a highway. It's so bizarre, Behan added. He ended up in an area of Star Tannery that is so dark and ran from the vehicle. Frederick sheriffs said they and other law enforcement officers combed the area, and the day-long search was just the latest to be conducted for Abarca. The bulk of these searchers are here on their own dime. Also, cases involving a person who has been missing in the elements for more than 96 hours usually don't have a happy resolution, sheriff said. And Christmas has gone by. New Year's has gone by. Also, overnight temperatures since December 13th had often dipped into the 20s and was cold. Soaking rain throughout the day on December 27th would have been dangerous for Jason. TikTok user Chronicles of Olivia. Also independent journalist and documentary filmmaker Olivia Vitali was contacted by Jason's family to raise awareness about what happened to her son. The body found in the wooded area of southwest Frederick County has been positively identified as Jason Diego Abarca. The 19-year-old had been accused of carjacking a vehicle in Winchester on December 13th, according to a release from the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. And Chief Medical Examiner in Manassas confirmed the body, which was found in an advanced state of decomposition. The young man's stepfather, Benito Soto, had confirmed that the remains belonged to his stepson shortly after they were discovered near Star Tannery Road on April 29th. The sheriff's office also revealed new details about the body's discovery, clarifying previously reported information that had been given to the Winchester Star by Abarca's family. His body was discovered near the location of the vehicle that he allegedly carjacked at knife point from a parking lot in Winchester. Searchers who located Abarca found his body with one leg stuck in the Y section of a large tree, approximately 5 feet up, according to the release. The rest of his body was dangling downwards towards the ground, basically upside down, according to the release. The new details clarify statements that Jason's family made following the body's discovery, including that his body had been found stuffed inside of a tree. It's believed that the contradiction in how the body was actually found versus the family's earlier statement to the press could come down to mishearing that the body was found stuck in a tree, not stuffed in. The release stated. Sheriff Milholland believes it to be totally understandable that, during the first moments of stress, upon hearing of their loved one, that some information being relayed by phone was misunderstood and later innocently passed on without realizing the lack of validity to such a statement. Watch these clips from journalist Olivia Vitali.
Grab the foot and bring it down, and then just go.
And one of his shoes were missing, so they probably could have took it off and then do that to make sure it fit in.
I don't know. No, well, his shoe was on this foot, the one that was stuck in the crook.
So that's weird.
Yeah.
Does this tree seem climbable? Imagine running in the darkness in the cold away from someone. Of all trees, this tree to climb? It appears almost impossible to shimmy up this trunk.
His blue puffer jacket had no tears in it. 0. And this is during the daylight and I get scratched without a jacket. So, I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me.
So no tears on his coat, and then his coat is also found on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I did this in this daylight and I'm being careful.
Yeah, this is just walking, so imagine running.
Pants was ripped open and his leg was exposed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that happened. An animal got to him, or
Because no, but even if it was an animal, why would the animal not keep going? Why would it just only do his thigh?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So Jason drove down this road from that direction. People were chasing him, and he ended up turning here left on Star Tannery in Star Tannery, Virginia, down this gravel road, and eventually met his fate down this road in Star Tannery, Virginia, and we still do not have any answers. I believe that the police did not do a proper search, and we don't know the truth of how he really died. Did he die? Did someone kill him? Or did he climb a tree and freeze to death? That's why we keep trying to bring this story out in the public, because there's questions that are not answered, and the police really have not answered the questions that we've asked multiple times.
How did Jason end up in this tree?
Like this one. This would be a perfect place to plant a body and just let it hang here and be exposed to the elements.
And also,
So,
like where he was hanging down, technically you kind of can't really see it from this angle if you're just looking straight down. Maybe if the jacket a little bit, but not
it's like it was
perfectly, like,
perfectly picked.
yeah.
You know, like they picked it to, this is a perfect
They
spot.
knew this exact spot.
Well, look, see how it's open here? Every other tree, and if you look at every other tree, there's no open. I just want to know where that one shoe, where did it go?
Hit that branch and then fall, but not like perfectly get your foot stuck.
Jason's foot was found wedged in this crook of the tree. The branch had to be cut to remove his body. His family tells me they think that there's foul play.
Like the last time I had to see my brother was in a body bag.
It's just weird because how did this strong young boy just get that stuck in a tree? Law enforcement waited 3 weeks to do the first official search, and then they waited 4 months after to do a second search.
He was treated like an animal. I believe that there's definitely foul play there, 100%. No doubt in my mind that there's foul play. Who was involved? I don't know, but I have my suspicions.
Let's talk about the 6 months leading up to December 13th. Jason was very depressed because his older brother, Corey, took his own life. He was being bullied at his army base. This really affected Jason. His family tells me they believe this is one of the reasons why on December 13th, he had a mental break. He left his home in Hagerstown and he crashed his rental car, and then he broke into a vehicle and took that stolen vehicle and drove it to Star Tannery. And it was on this road where that vehicle crashed in this ditch. The mystery is what happened after the crash. Jason's body was found 1,200 feet from the crash site on private property, hanging upside down in a tree.
In the report, there's one comment where a resident called in to 911 and said that he was also armed and wasn't afraid.
Winchester PD posted this picture after he'd been missing for about 4 months.
One of the comments, I couldn't even hardly read them because it made me so angry, but one of them was like, oh, let him come over here to West Virginia. I'll let him meet God.
And then one of the comments was they'll turn him into Swiss cheese. Which is like, why? Why say these disgusting things? Like, yeah, we understand that he did something bad, but this kid is going through a mental crisis. So, and he's a kid. He was 19 years old.
There's also missing security cam footage from Star Tannery where Jason was being chased.
But when later we ask about, well, what did you see in the cameras? supposedly all the cameras disappeared or the footage was erased.
Said the cameras were taken down, so, which is very odd. It's like the cameras are there, and you say they're there, and then you go look, and oh, they were taken down.
When law enforcement went to the crash site, they brought a canine. That canine tracked a scent on the road, but then it stopped. Law enforcement even admits that they messed up that night, and they should have had a helicopter or deployed a search and rescue team. They thought that he had just been picked up in a car because the scent had stopped in the road. His family tells me they also requested for police body cam footage, but there was none from the crash site. It says here that it was activated during the incident, but it says here that we don't have any body cam footage for what you are requesting. Also, a witness said that they saw a person running up a hill with a phone, but Jason's family tells me that Jason did not have his phone that night.
So that person that called in and said they saw him with a cell phone, and ran up the hill, either he was lying or that wasn't Jason, obviously. If it was a person, I don't know.
So who was that person on the hill who was so close to where Jason's body would be found 4 months later?
Alright, guys, let me know your thoughts about what happened to Jason Abarca. Thanks for watching Latte and Tea. Have a good one.